BENEE Happen To Me. I adore this song. And I hadn't found a guitar tutorial online, so I thought I would go ahead and include one. Hopefully it's something that everyone enjoys. And what I'm going to do on this tutorial is basically replicate what's on the recording. And by the way, when you're learning a song and making it your own, you can make a couple decisions there. That's all up to you. You can do what's on the recording and as it exists. You can make variations. You can change the chords. You can change the melody. You can change the tempo. You can change the feels, the genre. Anything you want. It's totally up to you. But I thought if someone wanted to learn the song, basically how it exists on recording, since I hadn't seen a tutorial in that vein, I'd offer one up. So here it is, BENEE Happen To Me. First thing you want to do is tune your guitar normally to A440, and then what I need you to do is take your sixth string and tune it down 2 whole steps. So normally this note on your sixth string is an E. We're going to move it all the way down 2 whole steps to a C. Sounds like that. Let's hear it again. Okay, fifth string normally is an A, that's the 440. Now we're going to tune it down to a G, sounds like this. The rest of the strings are all the same. So in total, your guitar will now be tuned as follows, starting at the sixth, going to the first. C, G, D, G, B, E. All right, let's get into the shapes. So there's basically 4 shapes that you'll need to have to get through this song. The first shape is as follows. You're going to come to the 5th fret and you're going to bar it with your first finger on strings number 6 and 5 at the 5th fret, and your third finger is going to go to fret number 7 on the 4th string with your third finger, and you get this chord. Okay, that's the first chord. And then the next chord is all open. Okay, so 6, 5 open, and first finger on the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and then there's a little passing chord. Now, what's great about this song is it has this forward momentum all the time, and it's due to a couple different things. One of them is the rhythm, which we'll talk about in a second, with the arpeggio with the right hand, but the other thing is these little passing chords, and this is one of them. Okay, and that's your first finger on the 9th fret, and your second finger on the 10th fret, and then the last chord is here, 7th fret, and your first finger is barring strings number 6 and 5, you're at the 7th fret, and your third finger is going to go ahead and grab the 9th fret, on the 4th string. Okay, so those are the chords. Let's go over them one more time. 5th fret, open, 9th fret, 7th fret. Okay, those are the 3. There's one little chord that sneaks in, and it goes like this. And that is when you would take your second finger, put it on the 2nd fret on the 6th string, and then you have open 4, and your second finger is on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. So that only happens for a brief second, and I'll also say that you don't necessarily have to do that. It only happens twice in the song, and you can use this chord right here instead if you would prefer it. Okay, so let's get into the part of the song that I think really is what makes it great and what gives it that forward momentum. And maybe it's the hardest part, and that's to get the right finger arpeggio down. In the recording, they're using a Telecaster, as best I can tell, and I'm just using a regular acoustic guitar here, and I just want you to know that you don't necessarily have to have the exact equipment to replicate the recording to learn the song. So that's why I thought it would be fun to let you know that you can play this on acoustic, and my intent is to put this out there for someone that wants to learn to sing along and play. I don't sing, so all I can do is show you the guitar part. So if you sing and you learn this, good for you. So, but anyway, you don't have to use the guitar it's used on the recording. But let's get into the arpeggio. And the arpeggio is really what gives it that forward momentum, okay, when you listen to the song. The arpeggio goes like this. Now, you're really going to use these 3 fingers, okay, your thumb, your first, and your second finger. And so in guitar, we have names for these, so let's just call them PIMA for now. So PIMA, and you're really only worrying about these 3. And so the pattern goes like this: M, I, P, M, I, P, M, P. Sometimes it'll go M, I, P, M, I, P, M, I. Okay? And it sounds like this. Okay? That's the basic pattern. I'm playing it slowly just so you can grab it. So let's do it one more time. Now there I changed it. So I ended on my thumb the first time, and then with my index finger the second time. Now sped up, it sounds more like this. Okay, so that's the rhythm of the song. All right, so that's basically it. Spend time getting that rhythm down. And at the beginning of the song, there's a little bit of variations. I'll also tell you that throughout, you don't necessarily have to have that absolutely perfect. There's a little bit of fudge that you can have in there, but that's basically the pattern. So go ahead and learn these shapes one more time here. 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, open, and this one little slight variation, and get this pattern down. Okay, and you're pretty much ready to go. Now you just need to know when things change, and that's basically the song. So that's basically the song, okay? That's the rhythm for BENEE Happen To Me. Okay, there you go. So let's jump into the solo in the song. And I think the most important part is learning the song the other way so that you can accompany yourself or play along with the song. That's the most important part. You don't have to learn the solo. In fact, if you were playing it by yourself, you could actually sing the solo if you wanted to, or whatever you might work, whatever you might choose. You could actually probably play them both together, so you'd be. Okay, so you could do it like that if you wanted to, but the guitarist on the recording plays two separate guitars, and so the solo in total goes like that. Was the first part of the solo right there. Here's the second part. That's how it ends. That's the solo. Okay, hopefully this gives you some fun stuff to work with. Again, I adore this tune. If you like it too, I can understand why. So there it is. BENEE Happen To Me. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe and like.